Hey everyone, this is Jesse from Janjo. So, limited run games, I have talked about them many times in the past, whether it was discussions or reviews of products they've released, and I enjoy everything they release, everything I've got from them, from Windjammers to Night Trap to A Golf Story to Yooka-Laylee and Bloodstained. They release so many great physical editions of games. It's not just indie games, it's older games as well, like I've mentioned, Windjammers and Night Trap, and more recently, the Star Wars games, releasing a lot of older Star Wars games, and there's a lot of cool games I would like to have physical copies of. And I want to make this video talking about the top 3 I would like to see from limited run games, and these ones that should definitely be heavily considered if they are watching this, because these are very strong picks in my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people would agree with me. And if you do agree with these, please let me know in the comments below, and let Limited Run Games know on Twitter or wherever else you can find them. So let's get started. Number 3. So the first one I would love to see is a more recent game, in Crypt of the Necrodancer. Yeah, this game is very interesting. It's a dungeon crawler that uses musical, like a rhythm-based component in it. It's very interesting. There is a bit of a learning curve to it, but trust me, it's really fun. Recently on the Nintendo Switch, they had the Cadence of Hyrule DLC, which included Legend of Zelda content. Now that's awesome. It's a really original game that you really haven't seen anywhere else. It's an indie game, so I'm hoping that it's possible to release it on a physical edition, because this game feels like it really should have got a physical copy, especially with the Cadence of Hyrule DLC. I'm really surprised that didn't happen. I mean, games like Binding of Isaac and Shovel Knight got releases on the Switch, physical releases. So this makes me a little bit surprised, considering that this game it's won awards for best audio and sound, and it's a game that's very fun to hear, and it's also fun to play. Again, there's no game like it. It seems like a game that's perfect for a limited run release, because it's not the most, it's not an obscure title. It's a very popular title. It's a very big one, in my opinion, at least currently going on, considering they got Zelda DLC, something that a lot of these games don't get. Main Nintendo IP stuff going on there. So I'm really surprised this never even got a regular physical edition. So limited run games, please make this happen. Number 2. Alright, the next one is a game that I've never played, but I really want to play, and that is Snatcher. Yes, Snatcher. A very expensive game unless you get a imported copy with no translation patch. Very fun. So this was a game made by Konami. It was written and designed by Hideo Kojima, and it was a really interesting graphic adventure that took heavy inspirations from other movies like Blade Runner and The Terminator. And Akira is a very cool looking game. You've probably seen images from it all over the place, even if you didn't know what it's from. It's very cyberpunky, and I'm a big fan of that. They also released Policenaut, so having a 2-in-1 would be even more awesome. But I would settle for at least one, and I feel like Snatcher's the big one, because that's the one everyone wants to collect. You look on eBay for prices, and these things are just through the roof. We've had interesting old games like, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, Night Trap that's been released, and this is another game that really just pushes the envelope of how games can be presented in a visual novel perspective. Now, I really want to play this game. It's a game that sounds awesome. Everyone who has talked about is big fans of it, and I feel like Limited Run Games is just the right company to bring this back and really share it. Now, I know Kojima's kind of his own guy, but if there's any possible way to release this game nowadays, I want that to happen, and Limited Run Games will absolutely make a beautiful copy of it. Hell, on the Yeti.com, they release stuff of the Snatcher, like vinyl records and pins and stuff. So it should be possible in theory. I don't know all the specifics that go into it, but either way, Limited Run Games, please make Snatcher happen. Number 1. Alright, and the last game I want to bring to you is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. Now, this game came out in 2010, and it is a beat-em-up game that is an old retro style. Now, I know nowadays that seems like something that's been done to hell, and it has, However, this was kind of the first game to do that. It was really the first game in an age when games like Halo and Call of Duty kind of ran the scene. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, released on PSN and Xbox Live, came out and just showed people that, hey, these games can still be good, they can still be fun, and they can still be popular. And I remember playing it back when it came out, and man, it was really fun. You got DLC in it, you got a great 8-bit soundtrack, and it's presented beautifully. There's so many game modes, fun characters. It's a great game. Problem is nowadays is that you can't play it. And that's because it was delisted in 2014 and it was only downloadable title, which means you can't play that ever again. Now I know my buddy Yomars made a video a long time ago talking about preservation of certain games that have download only capabilities and other things like that. And Scott Pilgrim is a game that people talk about. This game needs to come back. They talk about that stuff because it's a game that really forefronted the retro style boom that eventually took place on many things like Steam and eventually consoles. And it's a game that shouldn't be faded into obscurity. It shouldn't just disappear because people like it. And it's a very bright and fun game. It's a game that deserves to come back, and limited run games can make that happen. So please, limited run games, please, 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 try and bring Scott Pilgrim back. It's a very important game in gaming history, and it would just be a shame if not only Scott Pilgrim, but games like Snatcher never got a second release past its, the initial release. And games like Crypt of the Necrodancer is a game that fits perfectly for a game that should be physical because it's a great game you want to display. And all these games would be absolutely amazing to have in some capacity. There are ones that I'm sure I have missed. There's other games that would be great on here. Games like Baba Is You. Games like Blitzbreaker. There are so many games you could add to this list, but I want to keep it consolidated in what I believe are the most important ones. And if you agree with me, please let me know down below or on Twitter at JandroBrand, or let Limited Run Games know on their Twitter or wherever else you can find them. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Limited Run Games, if you're listening, let me know too. That'd be pretty awesome, I think. So yeah, everyone, please take care, keep gaming, and have a nice day.